All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the 12 tribes of Allah, giving of course all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahushua. All right, that's all praise to the Heavenly Father Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son Yahushua. This is your brother Allah, coming back with y'all with another video. All right, um, you know, Abaya and Tyazar can't make it. If they can, Lord willing, they can hop on. But basically, what we're going to go into is what does the Bible say about Thanksgiving? All right, because if you didn't know, Thanksgiving, so-called Thanksgiving is next week. Next week, um, on the 26th, right on the 26th. So people in the world, they're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Maybe a month in advance. They're thinking about where they can get the turkey, who's going to get the mashed potatoes, who's going to get the yams or the damn whatever they eat, man, right? Because when I was even in the world, I didn't really participate in that, all that damn tradition, because my earthly father already knew what's up, that we shouldn't be celebrating that. Um, they get like the damn. Let me look that up, man. Right. All right. Let's see what they eat on Thanksgiving, man, and let's pull this up. Let me share my screen real quick. Most I will. All right. All right. Let's look for a list. All right. So there you have it. You got the turkey, right? That's the main thing, right? Thanksgiving, you got the turkey, right? It says stuffing and dressing, right? So you have the stuffing and you have the dressing, that you put into the turkey, right? You have the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the cranberry sauce, the corn, the green bean casserole, the yams and whatnot. But those are your traditional Thanksgiving where your Thanksgiving meal is traditionally made up out of. You know what I'm saying? I know like Jake's and Eve's, they'll cook up something else in the South too. You know, they'll cook up something else in the South, and they'll have other stuff. Um, you know, but it's all just madness, right? It's all just folly. Oh yeah, the Jakes, they'll have a ham. They'll have ham right on the side. Okay, they'll have ham on the side too, and that's abominable. Right? If you didn't know, let's get that. Okay, let's get that in Leviticus 11. Okay, eating ham is an abomination. This is book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So we're not allowed to eat the swine, right? And the swine is just another word for a pig, right? It says that though he divide the hoof, remember, because let's jump up to verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed, and cheweth cud among the beasts, them shall ye eat. Right? So now this is commanded to the children of Israel when you read verses 1 through 2. Right? So when it says that all the beasts of the field, whatever parts the hoof, meaning that when you look at the hoof, there's a divided line in between, right? Whatever animal has that, and it's cloven footed. Cloven footed going into what? You look on the bottom of a beast's, right, animal's heel, it looks like a clover, right? It says, and cheweth the cud, and cheweth cud among the beasts, them shall ye eat. And cheweth cud among the beasts, that's what we're allowed to eat. Now, what's the cud? The cud is going into what? The basically animals that are what's that name? Ruminating. The water, right? Ruminating. So ruminating animals, that's what we're allowed to eat. Now let's pull up ruminating animals. Now the pig, okay, pig's hoof, right? Images. Let's get this real quick. See that? So when you see the pig's hoof, they have a divided hoof in between. They have a line in the middle. That's what that's going into. They have a line in the middle, and they also have a cloven foot, right? Like a goat has a cloven foot, an impala, a pig also does too. A deer, um, let me see, right? I believe a camel does too, right? But here's the thing, right? The reason why a pig is unclean is because it doesn't chew the cud, right? So this pig, any type of pig, all right, we're not allowed to eat it, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because they are not ruminating animals. They don't fully digest their food. In fact, they only have one stomach, similar to us. All right, we only have one stomach, but a cow has about four stomachs because they fully digest their food. All right, and a pig, he'll eat anything. All right, to be frank, they'll eat anything. All right, so let's get that out of the way. All right, um, it says right, jumping down to verse 7 again. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So we're not allowed to eat pigs, man. Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch, they are unclean to you. So we're not allowed to eat pork. And just a quick cut for all you Christians that say that the law is done away with, right? That we can eat whatever we want, although that's not in the scriptures. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. Let's get into some quick prophecy real quick, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire, by his sword, will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of YAHAWAH shall be many. So what is that going into? This is going into end time prophecy, meaning that this hasn't happened yet. The Lord has not came back with his chariots and has pleaded with people with his sword and with fire, man. This hasn't happened yet. Christians will even agree to that. Okay, they will say, yeah, that hasn't happened. So let's read verse 17. They that sanctify themselves, and remember, this is past Christ. This is past Paul. This is past Peter. This is past all the apostles, right? Way after their death, right? It says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens, behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh. So if you're caught eating swine's flesh, right, in the abomination, any unclean food, right, and the mouse, Moab, he eats the mouse, and be consumed together, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So you're going to be consumed together, right? If you're caught eating swine and the abomination and the mouse, right? When the Lord comes back, and you're going to be consumed together, meaning you're going to be destroyed. So how come the Lord is judging people for eating swine's flesh if we can just eat whatever we want, right? That's not, that's going off, right? That's not what that's talking about. And people out, they get that because they're going after their own lusts, right? It says that in the last days, people will walk after their own lusts, right? So they just want to eat the pork, so they, try to justify themselves, all right? So that's going off. No pork, right? No pork on the fork, and no swine on the mind. Okay. So Jake's especially because we getting on our people, right? We don't care what the hell the Edomites do, right? Although they need to be judged too, right? But on rebuking wise, correction wise, we're getting on our people first, man, right? We don't care what the damn Moabites eat right now, right? Although they eat whatever they want, right? They're going to be judged accordingly. We're not caring about the damn Edomites right now. We're focusing on our people right now, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right. So Jake, they like to eat the damn ham at Thanksgiving, right? The ham. Now the ham, that's already out, right? You can't eat that, right? That's abominable. Now the turkey and all that stuff, that is symbolic. It was also documented that the turkey, right, is symbolic for the body of the Native Americans, right? Because remember, Thanksgiving goes back to 1621, right? The Pilgrims, the Pilgrims and these damn the Pilgrims, Lucky, the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. So I'm going to pull up something. Right? It's a lot here. First, let's get into these precepts real quick. Let's get the classic. This is the book of Amos. Book of Amos, chapter 5, and verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. So the Lord said, I despise your feast days. Right? Now we know that in the proper context, this is talking about the feast days that we used to have in ancient Israel, but it wouldn't be genuine, right? It wouldn't be genuine. Let's get that real quick, right? It's the book of Amos, chapter 8, and verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit? Meaning that what? Our people, when they would be celebrating the Sabbath, but it would just be, basically unwillingly, they'll be like, looking at the sun, right? They'll be looking at the sun, and when the sun goes down, they'll be like, all right, I guess it's a Sabbath, kind of groan in their heart, and not serving the Lord in in happiness and joyfulness of heart. Hey, that's one of the reasons why we went into captivity, man. Read about that in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, But that's what was going on. They wanted the new moon to be gone and the Sabbath to be gone, so that they can sell forth wheat and rip off Jacob. So that's wicked. That's wickedness. This is the book of Amos, chapter 5, and verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. So the Lord said that He hates the feast days, right? He hates your feast days, right? And we can apply this to modern day, man, right? Because we know that the scriptures, they speak forever. Almost all of them, they speak forever, right? So what is it saying? I despise your feast days. Hey, Thanksgiving, the Most High hates that, man, right? Thanksgiving, the Most High hates that, right? Because you're sitting at a table commemorating what? The slaughter of the Native Americans, man, because that's what happened, right? That's literally what happened. You thought it was just a meal, right? No, the Lord, Esau, he came in with deceit, man, right? That wasn't a genuine dinner, right? You'll be a fool to think that. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Book of Psalms, chapter 55, and verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with them. Hey, the Gadites, man, they were at peace with Esau, right? They were at peace with Esau when he first came. But guess what? The Lord said that he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with them. So Esau, even though let me just keep reading, right? He had broken his covenant. So even though Esau made a covenant with the Gadites, right, who are the Native Americans, and the Reubenites also, your Seminole Indians, right? Even though Esau made a covenant with them, hey, the Lord said he broke his covenant. Esau has broken every covenant that they have made with the Native Americans, man. They can't keep a promise, man, because they're liars, man. Right? They're liars. Let's go to the book of John. Actually, this is a better precept. The book of Psalms, chapter 58, and verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So the Lord said that the wicked, they are estranged from the womb. As soon as they are born, right, they speak lies. So they're a liar, right? They are liars. Esau is a liar, right? He's the father of liars. It's the book of John, chapter 8. Book of John, chapter 8, verse 11. So Esau thinks that you celebrating Thanksgiving is a good thing. Well, Esau, he's the most biggest liar on the planet Earth, man. He is the biggest liar on the planet Earth, right? He turns the truth of the Most High into a lie, right? Read about that in Romans 1. This is John chapter 8 and verse 11. That's a lot. John chapter 8 in verse 44, right? It says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." So Esau, he's a father of lies, man. All right, and this is also referring to Cain, right? Because when you go to First John, 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. Let's look. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother, and wherefore he slew him, because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. So it says, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. Because remember, Cain, it was a murderer. That's why the Lord said he was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, right? And Cain has the same spirit that Esau does, right? And vice versa, you know. And so Cain, he did lie too, right? Because he said, the Lord said, where is Abel thy brother? And Cain said, I know not. Knowing damn well he killed Abel, right? Probably buried his body somewhere, or probably chopped it up or whatever, right? Cain knew where Abel was, but he lied. He said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper, right? So he straight out lied to the Most High, right? And that's a very, very unrighteous thing. And Esau, he would even be bold and talk to the Most High like that too, right? He would be bold and talk to the Most High like that too. Because let's get this in the book of Job. It's the book of Job, chapter 21, and verse 7. Wherefore did the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? Because remember, the wicked is going into who? The wicked are these Edomites, the so-called white man. All right, let's get that. Job chapter 9 and verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now the hand of the wicked, or basically, what is that, Slaki? What does that mean? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's going into what? Who governs the earth right now? That's Esau. That's the so-called white man. He is on top right now. He rules the world right now. Right? The Lord said, for Esau is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Meaning that what? Esau will be ruling the world right now in the end days, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? If it's not the so-called white man, who is the wicked, right? That's Job's question, right? If it's not the so-called white man, who is it? Let's get another precept proving who the wicked is. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1. And verse 4, it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So the Lord said that what? Esau will be called the border of wickedness, meaning that what? They are the end and start of wickedness, man. Right? And they are the wicked. So plain and simple, Esau is a wicked, and Esau is a so-called white man. All right, so back in the book of Psalms, or book of Job, chapter 21. So now that you know that the wicked is referring to Esau, let's read this. Job chapter 21, verse 7. Wherefore did the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? Right? Hey, because these Edomites, they grow old, right? They grow old. They might grow to damn 70, 80, and they still are mighty in power. Because they were given power by the Most High on the left-hand side, though. Right? It says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 14. Therefore they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. So they said unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. Right? What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit shall we have if we pray unto him? So that's the mindset of Esau, right? And literally, that's what he says. what is the Almighty that we should serve him? Right? And that's very, very blasphemous. All right? So come on. But let me get back to this topic, right? Don't celebrate Thanksgiving. All right? It's wicked. Look up the wicked origins of Thanksgiving, man. This is Romans chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. All right, so Esau, that's what he does. He changes the truth of the Most High into a lie, right? He might try to link up Thanksgiving with the scriptures, right? But Thanksgiving, the concept is not in the scriptures, man. The days that you're supposed to have a feast is an appointed time when the Lord says has a feast, right? Now you can set up a feast in righteousness, but Thanksgiving, that has a wicked origin. It's about the slaughter and pillaging, right, and destruction of the Native Americans. That's what it's about. When you're sitting at the table, for Thanksgiving, you are basically thanking the people who slaughtered, who raped, who pillaged, right, who stole from the Native Americans, man, right? The destruction of the Native Americans of this land, right? Who are the Gadites and the Reubenites, right? They are part of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So then you are celebrating that, okay? So, hey, and the Lord also said this, man. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. This is the classic. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." So this is the word of the Lord that is being spoken by the Most High, right, to Israel. All right, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. So the Lord said, learn not the way of the heathen, right? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So we are not to learn the way of the heathen, right? And what is the way of the heathen? The way of the heathen is celebrating damn Thanksgiving. That is the way of the heathen right there. All right, so we're committed to not celebrate that. All right, plain and simple. That's plain and simple. It's the book of Proverbs. Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy not, thou not the oppressor. So that's what a lot of our people do. They envy the oppressor, man. They envy Esau, right? Because he is our oppressor, right? But it says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. And choose none of his ways, right? Don't choose any of his ways. And one of the ways of Esau is what? Celebrating Thanksgiving. Or should I say Thanksgiving, right? And Thanksgiving, stealing, right? So your feast days, man, the feast days of the so-called white man and the Jacob in the world and Issachar in the world, Northern Kingdom in the world, man, the people of the world, they celebrating Thanksgiving, right? Hey, this is what the Lord said about that. Book of Amos, right? Let me just finish this off real quick. This is the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Meaning that what the Most High doesn't like the smell that you offer up to the Most High, right, on Thanksgiving, right, on Thanksgiving. He hates that smell, man, right? You thinking that you doing good, you offering up good offerings, the turkey, you got the damn yams and the damn cranberry sauce, right? You think that's all good in your mind. Well, no. The Lord said that, hey, you will not smell that, right? Because if you're going to throw a feast, throw it up in righteousness, right? Throw it up on the new moon. Throw it up on the Passover. Throw it up on the day of Purim, right? The day of Nicanor, the feast of dedication. These are our feasts, Israel, right? We have a set of feasts ourselves. So we don't have any reason to be celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and Halloween and all these other holidays. We have no reason to do that because we already have our own feast days and holidays. right? High holy days. It's the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I'll not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings, right? You think that turkey is a damn burnt offering, right? You think that's a valid burnt offering? In your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. So the Most High doesn't want to hear your songs, man. And you trying to play on Thanksgiving, man. Right? There was even a song, right, that they say ever since 1950s, the 1950s, uh, uh, called "We Gather Together." Now I never heard of this, but if you know about it, then you know about it, right? Basically, it's talking about we gather together, right? And you can read the lyrics on your own. But this is what people throw up, or the song that they sing when they celebrate Thanksgiving, right? The Most High is not hearing this song, right? Hey, the Most High is not hearing this song, all right? Especially from you, damn heathen, all right? For I will not hear the melody of thy vows. You see that? Now, let me go to the book of Amos, chapter 8. It's the book of Amos, chapter 8, and verse 10. And I'll turn your feast into mourning, because we're living in the end days, right? Believe it in, if whether you like to believe it or not, we are living in the end times, in the end days. So all hell is literally about to break loose, like we keep saying. So you still trying to worry about Thanksgiving and trying to indulge in all this eating, and that's another thing too, man. Right? You can't be gluttonous, eating till you just throw up. No, that is off as hell, right? But again, you worried about this. You worry about Thanksgiving and the turkey, and you're trying to get all the friends, and you're worried about COVID and affecting the Thanksgiving meals. And hey, the Lord said that, look, I will turn your feast into mourning, right? Because the Most High is about to literally bring all hell to this place, man. America's going to look like it did Sodom and Gomorrah, like it says in the book of Isaiah, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, and verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. This is Babylon right here, right? America. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So it's going to be like when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, when you read that account in the book of Genesis, the Lord sent fire down from heaven, man. Let's get that in the book of Genesis 19 chapter. It's the book of Genesis chapter 19 and verse 24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. You see that? So the Lord, he rained fire and brimstone upon Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's going to be the same thing when the Lord brings swift judgment and fire upon this nation. And you still worried about Thanksgiving. You have to get your mind right. You have to get your mind right. All right. Verse 28. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. See that? So he saw the smoke, man. Right? Abraham saw the smoke of the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. Imagine that. All right. And people are not worried about that right now. People are worried about who's going to get the turkey. People are worried about, are we going to be able to gather together, in the house with all this COVID-19 going on? That's what people are worried about. But us in this truth, we're worried about praying, fasting, getting our spirit right, keeping the commandments, right? Studying, right? We're trying to get ourselves right in these last days so we can be saved. But people in the world, they're thinking about who's going to make the mashed potatoes, for Thanksgiving. Or the Lord said that's off, all right? The Lord said that's off. And some of you, you Jakes, Right? You want to go to Thanksgiving with these damn Edomites. Well, this is what the Lord said. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So if you join onto Esau, right, when all hell breaks loose, you're going to fall by the sword. If you're still trying to hold hands with your oppressor, you're going to fall by the sword, right? And you're going to get killed. That's what that means. You're going to get killed, right? Because a lot of people are going to get killed in these last days, right? Let's get this in Second Ezra. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Because when all hell breaks loose, a lot of people will die by famine, right? A lot of people will die by famine. And it says, and the other that escape the hunger. Let's say you still have some of that damn, turkey left over, right? When all hell breaks loose, and you guys are eating good, right? If you escape the hunger, the Lord said that the sword will destroy you. So you might get shot up, you might get blown away in pieces, nuke might hit you, whatever, a grenade, you know. So that's all hell literally around the corner, and people are worried about Thanksgiving. You need to get your mind right, right? And Thanksgiving also is about what? Overindulging, eating too much, having a gluttonous spirit, right? The spirit of gluttony. Now let's look that up real quick. I'm gonna share my screen. You can't have a gluttonous spirit, okay? Gluttony. So this is gluttony right here. All right. It says habitual greed or excess in eating. Right. So you just eating every day, all day. That's what you do. You just eat. Right. Overconsumption, overeating, binge eating. You know how you have, like binge watching, people binge watch stuff. In this troop, we binge watch videos, uh, of edification. People binge eat. All right. It says gluttony. Gluttony means overindulgence and overconsumption of food, drink, or wealth items, particularly as status symbols. Right? In Christianity, well, all right, it is considered a sin if the excessive desire for food causes it to be withheld from the needy. All right. So gluttony, that's a bad spirit to have on you. Right? That's evil spirit on you. If you have that spirit of gluttony on you. Now let me get this priest about gluttony. All right, let me get this precept about gluttony. What is this at? It's a book of Sirach, chapter 37. All right, let me get this book of Sirach, chapter 37, and verse 29. The book of Sirach, chapter 37, and verse 29. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. So the Lord said, don't be too greedy upon meats. These people right here, you see on these images, they are too greedy about meats. And if you see this picture right here, hey, this looks like the damn Thanksgiving. This looks like your average Thanksgiving meal right here. All right. And so, in Thanksgiving, they commemorate or they celebrate overindulging, which is off and is wicked, right? It says, for excessive meats bring sickness, and surfeiting will turn into cold. So all you want to do is just get sick, because the Lord said that when you have excess of meats, you just keep eating and eating. That's what's going to cause a harm on you, right? More than good, and you might throw up, you might feel bad, you get lazy, you have a slothful demon on you. Yeah, like I said, you throw up, you go to sleep, you gain weight. So nothing good happens, right? Nothing good comes out of that, right? By surfeiting have many perished But he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. You got to take heed, man. Right? You got to take heed. All right? You have to take heed. All right? All right, so let's go back to this. So, this was just some information. All right? Shalom, Ak. YAHAWASHI now shall BARAKATHA. Shalom. All right, let's get this real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. And a lot of people, they're in the house of mourning. I mean, it's like they're in the house of feasting, man. In this truth, we have to be in the house of mourning, right? Because that's when we acquire wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of one's birth. Why? Because King Solomon, he was saying in his spirit that hey, when we're in this life in captivity, man, it's like better than we dying than we being born. Because when you're up there in the spiritual realm, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about demons. You don't have to worry about keeping the commandments, right? And you don't have to worry about all this other stuff and all the stress that comes with the world. That's why he said that through the Spirit. Verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So the Lord said that what? It is better to go to the house of mourning. Are people in the house of mourning right now? Right? They're getting ready for Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, you're supposed to be merry, right? They're trying to take those ideas of our feast days, man. Right? But this is the time to go into the house of mourning. But then to go to the house of feasting. And these people, they're in the house of feasting all day, right? They're in the house of feasting all day, man. Right? Come on. It says, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Right? Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of the mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. The Lord said that. Well, let me just read that again, right? Verse 5. It is better to hear verse 4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. So, hey, who is the wise men, right? Who are the wise women? Us in this truth that the Most High gave us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? But it says that we will be in the house of mourning, right? Because we see the suffrage of our people. We see the sufferings and the hell that we're going through right now, right? Because the Most High has opened our eyes. We see Jake getting shot down every 28 hours, unarmed. We realize that, and we see that, we see the oppression that we're still going through. We see that we need to fight demons. We see that we need to get the kingdom. We see that we only have one chance in this thing, right? And that causes us to go into the house of mourning. We see that we can't save everybody, That's what we experience in this truth too. You may not be able to save your father or your mother or your brother or your sister, even though you want to. The Most High didn't ordain it for it to be that way. All right, so we can't do anything about it, and that causes us to go into the house of mourning, right? Although there's a balance, because let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So to everything there's a season. There are times to be happy, man, right? There's a time to be happy, because let's go to verse 4. A time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. So when is that time to laugh and to dance, man? Because Jake, he likes to dance, right? Read about David dancing, man, right? Hey, we like to dance, but the thing is, there's a set time for that. For example, the feast days, the new moon, like I said, right? All these other feast days that we have, right? We have a lot, feast of dedications coming up in December, I believe. All right, so we have a lot of feast days, and that's our time to dance. And when we get delivered up, that's the perfect time to dance. when we're stepping in the gates of New Jerusalem, that's a perfect time to dance and to laugh. The Lord said that in famine thou shalt laugh, right? Did not the Lord say that in the book of Job, the 5th chapter? When did the Lord say in Thanksgiving, on the day of Thanksgiving, right, thou shalt laugh, right? In fact, on that day, we should be mourning. Why? Because over 400, or yeah, like around 400 years ago, that's when these damn devils set foot on North America and started enslaving and slaughtering our people, you know? So on that day, it should be the day of mourning, you know? And I believe, in fact, check this out, because last year on Thanksgiving Day, um, it was actually cloudy where I was at. It was cloudy and it was kind of raining. It was really gloomy, and the Most High made the weather be that way, right? Because that was a day when Esau was enslaving and deceiving our people and killing our people. Our brothers and Native Americans, man. All right. All right. It says a time to weep. So we have a time to weep, man, and a time to mourn, right? What is it? Hey, on the Day of Atonement, that's a solemn day. When we think about all the stuff that's been going on, and you can take times out of the day too to mourn, right? And to be sorrowful, because we're not in our land. Our people don't know who they are. It's just a lot of things. But like we said, it's a balance. So it's a book of Ecclesiastes. Again, right, where was this? The heart of the wise kind. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fools is in the house of mirth. So if you're a fool, your heart is going to be in the house of mirth. You just laughing all the time, right? You just laughing all the time on the Day of Atonement, man. You just cracking jokes. You laughing all the time. Hey, you can't be like that, right? Can't be on the Day of Atonement cracking jokes, laughing all the time. You're not even serious. Brothers that never serious at all, right? You can't be like that. There's a balance. Lord said that what? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 21, I believe. Sirach, chapter 21, and verse 20, right? It says, "A fool lifteth up his voice with laughter, but a wise man doth scarce smile a little." You see that? So a fool, he lifts up his voice with laughter, right? Meaning that what? He's just laughing, right? Mouth wide open, just laughing, tears falling out. That's a fool. At any little thing, you just say a word and he starts laughing, right? Hey, these men, you can find a lot of them in the world, all right? You can find a lot of them in the world, all right? It says, "A fool lift up his voice with laughter, but a wise man does scarce smile a little." Meaning that a wise man, he'll be like this. You'll be surprised when a wise man will start smiling, because he's thinking about what? He's thinking about the scriptures. He's thinking about the scriptures. He's thinking about the plight of his people. He's thinking about getting out of here, right? So, hey, you never really catch him smiling, you know? Come on. But I want to touch on the Thanksgiving part, all right? The Thanksgiving part. We should always be giving thanks to the Most High, all right? Why is it only one day out of the whole year? That's when we give thanks to the Most High, right? That should be on the daily. That should be hourly, right? That there's this fool around here. He be yeah, fools, man. All right, but yeah, So, and we should be thinking about the Thanksgiving part, right? We should always be giving thanks onto the Most High, right? Let's get this real quick. Let's get this precept, in the book of Colossians, I believe. All right, let me look this up. Right, because the word thanksgiving is actually in the scriptures, right? But it just means giving thanks. That's it. All right. It doesn't mean come together. All right. Get the turkey, get the gravy. No, right? That's not what that's going into. This is the book of first um what was this? Philippians, right? Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto the Most High." So the Lord said that what? In everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. So when are we supposed to be praying? The Lord said to pray always. Luke chapter 21, verse 36, right? Luke chapter 18. The Lord said to pray always. Paul said to pray without ceasing. So meaning that what? If we're supposed to pray and we're supposed to in those prayers also give thanksgiving, that means that what? We should always be giving thanks unto the Most High. Always giving thanks, you know? Like, hey, like uh um uh, something happens, you should say, hey, the water YAHAWAH, or all praises. That's a form of giving thanks too, because you're praising the Most High for what He has done, you know. So you're also giving Him thanks. So in our prayers, we also have to make sure we put in our daily prayers, giving thanks unto the Most High for waking us up for everything, man, right? All the works that the Most High has done for us, you know, and has allowed us to do, you know. Only reason we're in this truth is because of the Most High. So we should always be giving Him thanks, because that's our Father, that's our Creator, that's our King, you know. It says, Colossians chapter 4, verse 2, continue in prayer and watch in the same with thanksgiving, right? Continue in prayer and watch in the same with thanksgiving, right? So we should always be giving thanks, namely, first and foremost to the Most High, and also to each other too, man. You know, also to each other, to the teachers out here, the great elders out here. You know, to everybody, man, in this truth, right? Giving thanks because we know that being in this truth is hard, man. All right. Um, but so that Thanksgiving part, all right. We should always be giving thanks unto the Most High, always. All right. So let me see if I had anything else written down on my notes right here, right? And a lot of people, they try to say, on Thanksgiving, we just that's a day to get happy and get with the fam. All right. Guess what? Thanksgiving break is only about 3 or 4 days. 3 to 4 days, you got to go back to work. 3 to 4, right? The Lord said, hey, the feast of dedication is 8 days. That's over a week, right? The Sabbath, you got the Sabbath 4 times a month. How many months you got? 12. That's 48 days. So you got 48 days to get with your family, right? In a whole year. You have 4 days a week. Slot 4 days a month to get with your family. Because remember, the Sabbath is a solemn assembly, right? Let's get that real quick. What does that mean, a solemn assembly? Right? A solemn assembly. It says, it's the book of Slovakia. The book is I would just get Exodus, right? I would just get Exodus, right? So book of Exodus, chapter 20, is the classic, in verse 8. It says, and remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7 days is Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So remember the Sabbath, man. This is solemn assembly, and we're supposed to get together on that day, right? supposed to get together. That's what that means, an assembly. We're supposed to congregate on that day. So that means that what? We have more, according to the Most High, we're supposed to have more days to get together. But Esau only has 3 or 4 days out of the whole, out of like 6 months. That's not enough. Or you have to go right back to your job, right back to stress, right back to it. So these holidays, man, they're off, right? They're off, all right? And they say, well, we just want to be happy, right? Happy with the fam. Hey, what does the Most High say that when you're happy, right? When does he say that you're happy, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, and verse 13. It says, happy is he, happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. So the Lord said that what? You're happy when you find wisdom, when you find understanding, when you get understanding. Because why? With that knowledge and understanding, you now have found out the truth. You know how to properly serve the Most High. You have found your nationality. You have found your culture. You have found out the truth. So that's why the Lord said, happy is a man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. Right? The man that getteth understanding. So if you're watching this live stream, if you're in the truth, well, hey, we should be happy, man. We should be happy that we're in the truth, right? Because now we know how to properly serve the Most High, and we have a chance to get into the kingdom. Every brother and sister that's in this truth right now, as of right now, has a chance to get into the kingdom, right? On a carnal level. All right, so that's when you're happy, man. A lot of these people, they trying to be happy, Well, hey, you're not in the truth, man. You're full of stress right now. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, and verse 14. It says, happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. So the Lord said that you're happy when you fear always. Fear who? The Most High. When you fear the Most High, you keep his commandments, right? Because let's get this in the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So that's our whole duty too, to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, right? And that's how we also attain wisdom. Because in Job chapter 28, verse 28, it says, Job chapter 28, verse 28, it said, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So now we have knowledge and wisdom and understanding because we're putting forth our hands to keep the commandments, man. All right? It says, fear God and keep his commandments. All right? So when you fear the Most High, you will keep his commandments. All right? That's just what that's going into. All right? Because when you fear the Most High, you understand that when you don't listen to what he's saying, when you don't keep the commandments, there's going to be a just judgment for that. All right? There's going to be a judgment for that. You're going to, because let's go to Romans chapter 6. You fear the judgment from the Most High, and we should always fear the judgment of the Most High, right? Because he's in control of all things, It's the book of Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death. Remember, the word wages means cost. For the cost of sin is death, but the gift of the Most High is eternal life through YAHAWASHI, our Lord. So the wages of sin is death. And we fear that. We fear the cost of sin. So that's why we abstain from that. All right, the spirit of the Most High. But it says Proverbs chapter 28. And there was another one too. Happy is the man. All right, let's get this. Happy is the man. Also, like, it's happy as he, right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter. What was this at? Oh, come on. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keep the law, happy is he. So, brother and sisters, if you keep the law, man, we should be happy, right? We should be happy because what other people are keeping the laws of the Most High right now? What people even care about that, right? So the Most High has allowed us to even care about His laws, man. Because a lot of people, they just say, to hell with the Most High's laws, right? To hell with His commandments. That's what a lot of people say. Well, we, because of the Spirit of the Most High, now have determination to keep the laws, right? So that's the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High resting upon us. Or it says, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So that's when you should be happy. Not that when you gather together with your wicked friends and family, and they all spears all off, and you sitting at the table and you splitting the ham and getting the turkey and the gravy. No, be happy at the our feast days, new moons, right? Hey, read about that in Leviticus chapter 23. All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 23 real quick. Where's Thanksgiving at in Leviticus chapter 23? Because I read that chapter, I don't see it. Right, I don't see it in there. All right. This book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. Right? Prime example, little Boozy. Khan. Yeah, Khan, yeah. He got shot, I believe. He got shot, right? And the brother got judged, I believe, he did a video on Instagram Live. He was saying, F the Most High, I'm gonna eat this pork, all right? So the Most High, he can easily, judge you, right? He can easily judge you, because let's get this in the book of Psalms. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 40. This is 40. I'm in Proverbs right now. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 78. And verse 49. He casts upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble by sending evil angels among them. Right? So the Lord, he can send evil angels among you to judge you. Right? So that's why little Boozy, he got shot. Right? Because the Lord sent an evil angel to judge him. Right? But Khan, that's a prime example. Khan. But this is Leviticus chapter 23. And Salaki, I said Sabbath was a solemn assembly. I meant to say holy convocation, right? This is Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. And when you read on down, this is our feast days right here, and also other feast days that's not mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23, but these are our prime high holy days, right? These are our prime high holy days. So why isn't Israel keeping these? Why is Israel keeping Thanksgiving and not our own feast days? Right? Because you envy your oppressor, man. You want to do what your Esau wants to do. You have been drunk off the wine of Esau too, right? Because these nations, Moabites, Ishmaelites, Elamites, these nations, they come over here and they start celebrating Thanksgiving, right? And their spirit gets off. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Meaning that what? Spiritually come out of Babylon, right? Stop thinking as a Babylonian, right? Take your mind out of the west, put it back in the east. Put it back where it's supposed to be, right? And deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Meaning that what? The Lord is about to judge this place, right? Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine, Therefore the nations are mad. Right? So these nations have drunken of the wine of Babylon. So they come over here, they celebrate Thanksgiving too, right along with Esau. And they're going to be destroyed as well. All right. It's also book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. You see that? So the Lord said, Come out of Babylon. Come out of her. Right? Does that mean that you have to pack up your bags, you have to get a plane ticket, and you have to go all the way to China, and there you'll be safe? No. That's talking about spiritually come out of Babylon, mentally, right? And spiritually, right? It says, stop celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these other high holy days. Salaki, unholy days, right? That you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not her plagues. Because you don't want to be judged with Babylon. You don't want to be burned with Babylon, right? I don't think that's what your lot wants to be, right? Or I don't think you want your lot to be that. Verse 5, for his sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered Esau's iniquities. And that's also the spirit too, because we're going into Thanksgiving, and we know that Thanksgiving has a lot to do with the slaughter of the Native Americans. So the Most High hasn't forgotten that, Esau, right? The Lord has not forgotten the sins of Esau, man, and they're going to have to pay, right? I'm going to get some closing precepts real quick. Close out. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter. Prepare what? Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise and possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the Lord said, prepare slaughter. What is slaughter? Massive killing, right? For these Edomites. It says, for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Your forefathers, your George Washingtons, your Samuel Adams, even the men before that, man, right? All these wicked men, right? Your John Adams, your Thomas Jeffersons, and your Alexander Hamiltons. These people that possessed slaves, they had Native American slaves and black slaves, right? That slaughtered many people, right? Many of our people, man, the Israelites, their children will have to suffer and pay for that, and also be killed. All right. So the Lord said, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. All right. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And you lead a nation into captivity, you also are going into captivity. Right? Plain and simple. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. 100 million Native Americans, 100 million got killed. Right? Because the damn Edomites coming in and taking their land. And now you want to celebrate Thanksgiving. Right? It says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints are patiently and faithfully waiting for that day to come. Right? The saints of the Israelites. Read about that in Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. All right. Let me get this last one. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. You think that you can mock the Most High? You really think that you can mock the Most High? You really think that you can get away with 100 million bodies, right? With slavery, with all those, with destroying the earth. The Lord said He's going to destroy those who destroy the earth in Revelation chapter 8, I believe 11, right? Now you think you can get all away from this, Esau, right? And your day is coming, and like how the scriptures say, your days are numbered, all right? It says, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So a lot of killing, and let me just get this last scripture real quick, man. All right. This man be thinking of a precept. Now let me get this last precept. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, and verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly. So, hey, all hell could break loose on Thanksgiving. Very much so, right? But it says, when he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating. So, hey, the Most High is going to catch Esau off guard, man. And while he's eating, and while you, Jake, you sitting right next to him, right? You say, saying, pass the damn ham, or pass the ham, right? You sitting right next to Esau, right? He's eating at the damn Thanksgiving dinner, right? Thanking his forefathers for stealing America and from the Native Americans, bringing the Judites over here to be slaves over here, right? While you're doing that, the Moses said, he shall cast the fear of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right, meaning that what Esau is going to be destroyed. All right. So with that, I like to give all honor and praise unto the Most High Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Lord willing, this was edifying. All right. Don't celebrate Thanksgiving. All right. We should abstain from that. Remember, we have to be unspotted from the world, as it says in the book of James, the first chapter. All right, giving, of course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI again. Like say, Shalom. It's your brother Yasha.